Behind every creative career, there's usually a lot more going on than meets the eye. In today's episode, Madeline Young opens up about the evolution of her art, the story behind the Corner Store Gallery, and some of the harder seasons she's navigated along the way. We also talk about building a creative life that feels sustainable and why having multiple income streams can help artists to protect both their income and their joy. This is episode 114 of the Paint, Rest, Repeat podcast, which means you can find all the relevant links and the show notes over at permissiontopaint.co/podcast 114. Welcome to Paint, Rest, Repeat, the podcast for artists who are ready to ditch the overwhelm, follow their passion, and build a thriving art life on their own terms. I'm Roz, an Aussie artist, mum of two, and creative business coach who knows exactly how wild, wonderful, and wobbly the artist journey can be, because I've lived it. I left behind a safe teaching career to follow my heart into art, and now my work hangs in galleries and major art fairs across Australia. After years of coaching, I'm passionate about helping you ditch the starving artist myth, stick it to the naysayers, and design a creative life that truly lights you up. So if you're ready for real talk, practical tips, and heartfelt encouragement, you found your podcast. Hit follow and let's dive in. Today on the podcast, I'm joined by Madeline Young, an Australian abstract artist based in Orange, New South Wales, Australia. Madi creates expressive abstract work inspired by emotion, landscape, and memory, and she is also the curator of the Corner Store Gallery. She has such a rich perspective on both making art and supporting artists, and I'm really excited to share our conversation with you. Hi, Maddie. How are you today?
I'm very good. How are you? The sun's out. It's a lovely day.
Well, it's very lovely to have you here. Should we start off with sharing a little bit about, who you are as an artist, your art practice, and some of the different hats that you wear as an artist?
The art practice, currently, I am an abstract painter. I have been through lots of different mediums and all things like that. I guess I consider myself mostly to be a curator, and then the art practice comes if I have time, which is nice, which I do have more of this year. Yeah, so I use the word obnoxiously colourful, and everyone says that's me talking down to myself, but I like it actually. I'm an obnoxiously colourful abstract artist, mixed media. It's pretty new direction for me. I did have a big break for a couple of years because I used to do a different style, which was semi-abstracted landscapes. And before that, again, very geometric, colour blocked sort of abstracts. And they were very popular and I really enjoyed them, but I just started to feel a bit like a factory. They weren't challenging for me anymore. My heart wasn't in it. So I wanted to have a big shift. And that took a really long time to get through it. And it's actually very difficult. And you have to find a whole new audience and basically start all over again. So it is pretty tricky, actually, but that's where I'm currently at. But I did study art. I did a fine arts degree in Newcastle, which I graduated in 2009. And in that, I majored in darkroom photography and screen printing, actually. So totally different again. But those are the sorts of practices that you need a darkroom for. And I don't have one of those. So I just started dabbling in the painting and doing that. And it sort of just grew from there.
Very relatable. So that's the art side of things to do with your art practice. And then the hats piece is sort of interesting as well. And interesting that you mainly call yourself a curator. A curator is like your lead role. It's what you lead with generally in conversation. Can you chat to us more about those different sorts of roles that you play?
Yeah, I guess I call myself a curator first because I think I'm better at that, which took time. Again, I did not train in curation or art theory or anything. Like, obviously, you do a little bit of art theory through your art degree. But when I moved back to Orange, there was nowhere for emerging artists to exhibit. And I used to joke that I would open a gallery one day. And that just happened that a building came up available. We got really lucky at the time. It was very practical and financially doable. So I did it and taught myself everything along the way. And here we are 12 years later. I just made it up as I went and I taught myself everything and I'm incredibly stubborn.
That is just so inspirational though. It's really interesting. I think like that pace of having a dream and having that, in your heart. And then almost when things just appear in front of you
Mm,
because the universe or whatever it is somehow listening, like it knows what you're after, and then that
mm.
opportunity appears. Did it feel a little bit like that for you?
It was my mum's idea. So I never thought of opening a gallery. It was never something I considered. I thought, oh, I was working as an artist in residence at the time at a school here, which is kind of like a teacher's aide for the artists. So it was the best job ever. It was awesome. And yeah, this building just came up available. And my mum said, if you could live out the back of that, maybe you could make it a gallery because it was a hairdresser's at the time. It's this beautiful old corner store, hence the name. And yeah, it was 2 doors down from where I was living at the time, so I used to walk past it every single day, and when the idea got put in my head, I was like, "I really want that. I really want that. I really want that." And usually I'm one of those people that's like, "Don't say it out loud or you'll jinx it." But this time I was like, "No, I want it. I want it. I want it." And call me crazy, but maybe the manifestation worked.
Oh, no, you're not crazy. This is just fabulous, and aren't mums just annoyingly always right?
I know. I've always sort of just like, "Ugh." Yeah, but it was her idea. Yeah.
Oh, how fabulous. Okay, all right. So you're doing the art, you're doing the curation, you've got the gallery space. But like going back, I'm just sort of curious for a second, going back to the very start, when you were studying art, how
Mhm.
did you envisage your journey going as an
I
artist?
envisaged that I would go back to uni and get a proper job. That's how I saw it going. So
Okay.
I've always been arty. My parents have always been super supportive of that. And they were like, why don't you go to art school? Not like, oh, you shouldn't go to art school. Maybe you should get a real job, like be a nurse or a doctor or a teacher or something like that. Um, but they said, go to art school. Yeah, go and do that. And I did 2 gap years after school. And when I went to America, I was working at those summer camps and I taught art lessons at the summer camps. Um, Screen printing, which was really fun, and a bit of jewelry and stuff. I've always made jewelry as well. And so I don't know. I just, yeah. And then came back after 2 years, went to art school in Newcastle, was there for 4 years, loved it, got the job as the artist in residence back at home. And I think if I didn't get that job, I probably would have gone in a totally different direction, to be honest. Like I was just super lucky that that came up and I had a foot in the door because it was the school that I went to. So I sort of, it's who you know. So that helped and got that job, did that for 4 years. The building came up. And then once I started that, I overlapped it for about 6 months. And then after that, I moved out of the school situation and just did the gallery and also did 2 other jobs at the same time, mind you. Was still working in hospitality as well and doing a bit of admin and all sorts of other things because it's not a highly paid job, as most of you will know. Being an artist, we do it for the love of it, and if you get incredibly lucky, then you make some money.
And what are some of the, problems or hiccups and challenges that you've had on the way? Is there anything that sort of popped up that's been, really difficult?
I guess at the beginning, my biggest challenge with the gallery was how boring it was. It was so boring. Like we're in a back street of a regional town, so it's not foot traffic heavy. Um, as glamorous as it sounds, owning an art gallery, it can be incredibly boring and an incredibly lonely job. As being an artist, it is the same. But I found that really boring going from a high school where you're in a team of people and you're around people all the time, and then being in this little quiet room by yourself. I did get used to it, and now I
Mm,
love it. But yeah, that was the hardest thing at the start. Obviously, the money thing is tricky as well, but you treat it as a side hustle for until you don't need to anymore. And that's
mm.
always my advice to people, like, please have a side hustle or treat the art as the side hustle. Unless you're really lucky and somebody can support you financially or whatever, that's just not the case for a lot of people. So, and the other thing is when it does become your full-time job, it's a job then, and some people don't actually find it as enjoyable because it has to be a job then. You think about it in a really different way. But when it is your side hustle, you really look forward to doing it and you love doing it because it's your little escape from your everyday, I think.
And I think that, that financial pressure on your art for
Hmm.
many people, not for everyone, but for many people can really put too much stress on the creativity and
Yeah.
the joy. Some people can navigate that well, but many can't, in my experience. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm still going through it a little bit with that whole change of direction that I had because I was really confident in the pieces that I was doing. they were selling. I was represented by Jumbled at the time, which is a huge deal. There was other galleries, they were like inviting me to be part of shows, which is like a dream. And I knew I would sell them. Like, I'm like, I will get this framed in the expensive frame because I know it will sell, rather than before when I was getting my dad to build all my frames, because I'm like, I don't want to put all this money out there because it may not sell and then I'm out of pocket. So that was a really privileged and comfortable place to be. And then I decided, no, I want to go in a different direction. This is not fulfilling me anymore. I had to start all over again. And you don't sell for years. But luckily, I had the gallery keeping me going at the time. And that was going really well. So that was enough for me. It was still, I'm still being creatively fulfilled through the gallery. And I started playing, but it takes such a long time to move through it. And, you totally alienate your audience and they just don't, you're not validated anymore, really,
Yeah.
which
And
is
we're
one of the
also,
hardest things.
yeah, I
Yeah.
was going to say, we're also sensitive as well.
Yeah,
Like
totally.
we
Yeah.
need that validation, like as much as we
Absolutely, we
possibly
do.
can.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's
Funny
hard.
creatures.
Yeah.
Now, what you were talking about though was the multiple income streams, really, like having that variety in there. So when one is a little bit, dipping a little bit, you can rely
Hmm.
on another.
Hmm.
I personally, I operate in the same way in my art business, and it helps me to create my art from a freer sort of a place. Have you always, so well, sorry, you obviously always have had multiple income streams because you started at
Yeah.
the
Oh,
art
yeah.
and the gallery, both almost same
Yeah.
period of time.
Yeah, I think I took my art practice seriously when I opened a gallery because I had a place to exhibit, I suppose. And again, it had many evolutions of style and everything over the years.
Mm.
We used to do pop-ups in the gallery, like a handmade pop-up, because there's so many creative people around here. They like make hats or jewelry or clothes or whatever. And so I was like, let's make a collective of those people. So I started a collective of local artisans and designers and stuff and did a pop-up a few times a year in the gallery because I had the space. I used to teach workshops. So I used to do crochet workshops or weaving workshops or lino printing workshops or flower crowns for hens parties, things like that. So I used to do all the things. And I used to love that. I used to make all the things, but then I guess you get better at choosing what you're going to be good at and the more popular, for want of a better word. And then, of course, COVID hit, so we couldn't do workshops anymore. But art started selling really well during COVID. So we didn't need to. It was great.
I love that. I just think that's amazing. How did you decide what to continue with and what to cull? I suppose COVID made some of those decisions for you.
COVID made a decision absolutely with the workshops. I also had another job until I had a kid, and then just didn't have the time to do the second job, which was just an admin job. So that stopped. He was born 2018, and then COVID hit a couple of years later. Then I also got divorced. Like, we separated at the exact same
Yeah.
time that COVID hit. So that was a big, like, whoa, my God. And I
Oh,
think a lot of people can relate to the whole, when you have a kid, you want something for yourself and you need something for me, me, me. So that's when I really delved into the art practice a lot, which is so common. Like, a lot of people do it
yeah.
because you need some me time and something for me. And maybe also the hormones that are flowing through our body makes you more creative or something like that. I don't know.
Definitely a common story, that piece of needing space for you.
Absolutely.
My leg has just started to cramp, Maddie. I
Sciatica, love that for you. Have a,
don't know what
have a
this
walk.
is. Oh. Anyway, I won't edit that one out. I'll leave that one in.
Mine will do it in about half an hour. Don't worry.
Oh man, seriously, it's so annoying. What's your review of your current art business in terms of pros and cons? Like, would you recommend your lifestyle to others? What's great about it? What's challenging about it?
Would I recommend it? Yes, of course. I wouldn't do it if I didn't recommend it to people. I, again, will reiterate the whole side hustle thing. Please do that. I just think if you're financially, and especially now, it's not ideal in the current climate, as they say. I've actually just gone and gotten another job, mainly because I want a different challenge for me, because I've been doing this for a long time, and it will be a complementary job. You've got to be practical about it, I would say. Like, and it takes time. It takes a long time to get established. And, people say to you, oh, you've made it past a year, you've made it. No, try 5 years. Like, try 5 years until you feel really settled into it. And if something comes up that your life needs to change, let it change. It's fine. If you get that far down the road, I think you just have to grow and adapt with the times and whatever's happening. And you never know what life's gonna throw at you. So, yeah.
It's true, isn't it? It's funny. What came to mind when you were talking was this little line that I said to a friend a while ago, which was just about, having these really big goals. It's important to have big goals, where you want to go and all of that, but to hold them loosely because,
Mm,
like you're saying, you know, plans don't always go exactly how you want to go. We are
yeah.
organic creatures in a world that is not the one that we control, So
No.
we need to be able to make our plans work around that.
Yeah.
And, you did reference the current climate as well. That's
Yeah.
been a bit of a doozy, hasn't it? How
Yeah. It's a bit
how do you
tricky.
think that's impacting us? Just to dive into that just briefly.
To be brutally honest, like art's the first thing to go. That's not, it is an essential human need, I think. Art, music, arts, we need it. But if you're thinking about if you can't pay for your groceries or your fuel, you're not about to go and buy an artwork, are you? So you've got to understand that about for other people as well, which is why I would say have a backup plan. Um, and it's something that I say to a lot of my artists as well. Like I do a bit of mentoring, but the whole, if you're going to just do your art stuff, have your bread and butter line, and then you can do your experimentation and your growing and maybe your big, large, weird, wacky pieces that you want to sort of, maybe that's the direction you want to go in, but maybe keep your little bread and buttery things going for a while that, it's a more secure sale. Keep trying to get yourself out there in different places, print lines as well. Like I've always been a bit of a snob for prints. Guilty. I've just always been like, but I want them to buy my originals, not my prints. But a lot of people I know do prints, and that has been the thing that has kept them afloat. And I've actually come around to it. I think I'm going to do prints soon.
Ooh, I'm excited.
I
I'm gonna be
know. I
hitting
know.
refresh on your website often now.
Yeah. So
Refresh.
yeah, just things like that. The workshops are a really good one because that's in line with what you're doing. But please don't teach people how to make your art.
Oh, yeah.
It's another mistake I see artists do all the time. They're like, come and do a workshop because the art that they know how to do is what they do. And then they
Mm.
teach people how they do it. And then they shouldn't, but those people will go away and then make the same art that you're making and try to sell it. Not good. Don't do that. So it's a tricky one to get around. Like show them how to make art, but they have to be making the decisions and things themselves. Don't show them all your secrets. I've overheard people in the gallery, they go, oh, I've seen, because we have artists from all over Australia. Oh, I went to a workshop with this lady up in Queensland last week and she showed us how to make these. And I'm not going to buy that. I'll just go and make my own. So bad. Just, yeah, I don't like that.
Maddie, also you mentioned that you do mentoring, and fun fact, everyone, listeners, Maddie actually gave me a coaching call, a mentoring session recently. And goodness, you're amazing, Maddie.
Oh, good to hear. Yeah, I
Yeah,
coached the coach. I was nervous about that one, actually.
so good.
I
No,
was like,
you were
oh, this one's going to
amazing.
be weird.
Oh no, I can't see clearly. It's that whole analogy I'm sure you've heard of it. So a good coach doesn't sit on top of the mountain and say, this is how you do the thing. A good coach is actually on a different mountain, looking at your mountain, and they can see your next step because they're looking at it from a distance. And I needed you so much when I had that call with you. So
Did
thank
it
you.
work? Did it help?
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm
Are you
working
on your
through all
way?
my sort of experimental pieces at the moment, but
Yeah,
it's
good.
just I'm painting way more than I was, and you're finding more joy. So thanks, Maddie.
Good. Good to hear it. Yeah, no, it's just you need somebody that's not so close to it sometimes, I think.
Absolutely. Okay, amazing. I have a fun question for you before we
Mm.
sort of wrap up. And I didn't pre-warn you of this one, but it's okay. It's a thinking question, but you can't answer it incorrectly. If you went back in time and spoke to little you,
Mhm.
what would your words of wisdom or advice be to little Maddie?
Uh, look, I don't know. I think you'll be right. You'll be okay. Yeah. You're a very lucky, privileged white girl. That's what I would say to her. So make the most of that and don't be ungrateful, which I'm not, I don't think. So, yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. And no, but that's such an important one, I think. I think to recognize our privilege is really, really
And you
important.
don't have to do it in a bad way. Everyone's like, "No, you're not. Don't." And I'm like, "No, no. It's perfectly okay to acknowledge your privilege. and probably preferable in my eyes, I think,
Mm.
because there's a lot of people out there that don't have it. So, yeah.
Now you have amazing things coming up. So tell us what you have coming up, and then I'll ask you as well how everyone can get in contact with you.
Yeah, I've had a big old painting year. So I'm doing the Brisbane Affordable Art Fair with two of my very good friends, and they're both local artists here in Orange, Sophie Corks and Larissa Blake. They're artists that we have in the stable of the Corner Store Gallery as well. So the three of us are going to go up there and do it under the Corner Store Gallery. So please come say hi. I can give you a free ticket if you want one. I'm really, really happy with what I've made actually. And it, again, just the consistency of getting in the studio because I dropped my days back in the gallery this year. I had more time in the studio to play. And also I work better with a deadline. I don't know if any of you guys have ever done that art fair. I've only done it once, but God, it was fun. I just loved it. You're in a room full of thousands of people that actually care about what you do, which is so nice. And they're just there for art, and that's all I care about, frankly. So, yeah, that's happening. The gallery continues on. As always, we have a new show at least every month, new work. I'm always looking for new artists. We are pretty full at the moment, but we do one or two art prizes every year because I'm always looking for emerging artists. And basically, my thing with the gallery is I run it like I would want a gallery to run as an artist. Like I like to provide opportunities for people that I would like myself. Basically, that's how I try to do it. And it's really fun. And we have a lot of cool kids in there.
That's just such a great perspective to have as well, Maddie. I think, yeah, that also makes your gallery quite unique to be able to help the artists, from a place of respect and advocacy, genuine.
Yeah, genuine
Yeah.
advocacy. Like I'm really there. Like I do like to think I work pretty hard for my artists. I provide a good service. I know I provide a better service than a lot of galleries. And it's me. It's only me. I am trying to hire somebody for Sundays.
Mhm.
But I'm the one that photographs your work. I get it online. I'm the one talking to people about it. So like I like to know my guys personally. And
Mm.
yeah, um, they're I like to think they're well looked after. I'm told they're happy, so that's good.
Rumor has it. Amazing. And how can our listeners get in touch with you if they want to go and check out your art or check out the gallery, pop in, find your address, all of that jazz? Not your personal address, the gallery
Well,
address.
I live at the gallery. Secrets out. My address is the gallery. So yeah, I am again very lucky. The gallery is at the front. I've got a studio behind the gallery. Then my house is out the back. So living the dream. It's in Orange, 382 Summer Street. You'll be finding me on Instagram, a Corner Store Gallery. Also have the website, or my art is Maddie_Young, Maddie with just MAD. That's the most up-to-date art is on the Instagram or my website as well, but I'm pretty easy to Google, to be honest.
Thanks so much for your time today, Maddie. That was an awesome chat. Bye.
Bye.
If there was something in this episode that made you realize that perhaps you're feeling a little bit lonely as an artist, please don't worry. You're not actually alone in that this is a very, very common feeling for artists. It might be helpful for you to know that I have a free Facebook community called Permission to Paint. It is a place where artists from all over the world come together to share their work, get encouragement, and learn tips to grow their art, their sales, and also their confidence. If you would like to join us, just search for Permission to Paint on Facebook or head to permissiontopaint.co/free group, and I would absolutely love to welcome you on in. Thank you.